Hi, everybody. I wanted to record and share a very short video for Comp 2 as we finish up this week of transition. So just bear with me as I provide a few quick announcements that I will also be sending to you via email. So first of all, you'll notice at the top of our class some updated office hours. So basically, I'm available pretty much all the time. If you need anything and want to get a hold of me, please do so. Please reach out. But you'll see those specific office hours at which time I will be readily available to answer the phone, do video chats, answer emails right away, anything you might need. So I've provided you with my email address, my office phone number, which if you call that, it goes to my cell phone. I've also provided my cell phone number if you'd like to text or call or FaceTime. And of course, if you want to have a Zoom one-on-one video meeting, just request that and I will send you a link. I will also on Thursdays between 11 a.m. and noon, I'll just have a Zoom meeting open every week that if folks want to pop in and ask questions, I will be available. So I can't stress enough that I'm here. If you have any questions, if you just want to talk to another human being for a little bit, please just reach out and contact me. Your grades should all be in at this point. So please go into Moodle and check your grade book. Again, the grades from earlier in the semester, I just put in the numbers that were in my grade book because you got my feedback on those essays and assignments at that point. I gave you participation grades for turning in your journal, midway checkpoint, and I've graded your research essays with some feedback as well. So please double check all of that. I went through all of the assignments that were turned in. I went through all of my emails, but that does not mean that something didn't slip through the cracks. So if you know you turn something in and you don't see it recorded in the grade book, don't panic. Just please contact me, resend it, and we'll go from there. So again, until the end of this week, if you have any straggling assignments that you hadn't turned in yet, please email them to me. After next week, our assignments will be turned in directly in Moodle. So we're midway through Othello. I know that it's been a really tough transition to start learning remotely and going online after spring break, especially when you drop in basically midway through a Shakespeare play. So I'm hoping that you all had started the play before and during spring break like I had asked, so that as we picked it up this week, it wasn't kind of a total drastic shift into Shakespeare. So the goal is that you finish reading the play and watching the film by next Wednesday. At the beginning of next week, on April 13th, that should be in front of me, I will provide another kind of mini lecture video talking about the writing assignment. And next Wednesday at 9:30 or 12:30, you can join into a Zoom class where we will spend the time discussing Othello, the play, the film, the themes, things that stood out to you, and also the writing assignment. And between Wednesday and Friday, you will, again, try to replicate that in-class essay experience. You'll give yourself about an hour to write, and you'll turn that in by next Friday. So right now, make your focus be on reading and watching. And early next week, we will touch base again and make sure we're all on track and ready to complete the play and write a brief essay about it. After next week, because also, I'm sorry, to backtrack, the discussion forums that are open about Othello, if you could just go through in the next week and a half and post brief answers in those discussion forums as you read. And please be aware that the act and the scene will often have more than one discussion question underneath it. So you don't have to tackle 3 questions, you just need to choose one to respond to. After next week, after Othello, we're going to shift things a little bit, I think, to make them a bit simpler. We will still have our weekly Zoom meetings at 9:30 or 12:30, depending on when your class meets. Those meetings will have agendas. I will send you out far in advance. This is what we're going to discuss on Wednesday, April 23rd, fill in the blank. Certain short stories or poems, that's what we will be discussing that day. And instead of utilizing discussion forums after Othello, I will have you respond to a certain number of reading selections independently, just short reflections or responses. So know that things will be shifting a little bit after Othello, but I expect that it will feel a bit simpler and more manageable. Because again, I know that jumping into this new format with Shakespeare has been a little bumpy, but hopefully you're finding your footing and feeling okay. In Moodle, I can see who has logged in and seen the class. If you haven't logged into Moodle, entered the class for a couple of weeks or longer, please be expecting kind of an individualized email or communication from me. So I wanted to give this week some time in all of my classes for people to log in, to check in, to kind of get work started. But if I feel like I haven't heard from you and you might not still be in the loop, please be expecting that I will be reaching out and trying to get a hold of you. So I think that's it. I think those are all the major points. So please, again, ask questions. If anything's unclear, pace yourself. Just be reading and watching. And let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I do think if we push hard, if you do really, good in-depth work, kind of getting into Othello, utilizing the resources, utilizing study guides, definitely watching the film. Once we enter into the last phase of the class, it will seem a little bit like you can kind of take a breath moving forward. So keep going. We've got this. We're going to cross that finish line 5 weeks from now and hopefully feel good about the progress we've made. So let me know if you need anything and have a great rest of your week.